welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to act as your personal master technician to completely demystify the appliance repair process. We're talking hard data, diagnostic secrets, and the financial frameworks you absolutely need when your kitchen suddenly decides to stop working.
Picture this, right? You've prepped a beautiful meal, you set the oven to 350 degrees, and 20 minutes later, it's just completely cold. You're left with a raw roast, a ruined dinner, and honestly, the sudden urge to order expensive takeout while drowning in financial anxiety. A broken stove literally brings your entire household to a grinding halt. But hey, before you pull out your credit card to panic buy a brand new unit, you need a solid, logical plan. So, to save you from guessing wrong, here's our game plan for today. First, repair or replace. Second, diagnosing common oven issues. Third, the glass cooktop dilemma. And finally, kitchen appliance safety protocols. Okay, let's jump right into section 1, repair or replace, building a decision framework. We really need to start with a macro-level financial logic here because, let's face it, compounding repair costs on a dying machine is just a massive waste of your money. Is it worth fixing? Man, it's the very first question every single homeowner asks when a machine breaks down. And deciding whether to repair or replace isn't just about picking whatever's cheaper in the heat of the moment. It actually requires a structured evaluation. So, I want you to hold on to this anchor right here, the 50% rule. This is a super common rule of thumb in the appliance service industry, and it's even backed by the Department of Energy. It basically states that if the cost of a repair exceeds half the current replacement value of the appliance, buying a new one is generally the rational choice. But, that's really just the baseline. For a much more complete evaluation, professionals actually use this structured 5-step process. First up, you establish the current replacement cost for a comparable new unit. Second, you got to get a firm repair estimate, and that means factoring in both parts and labor. Third, calculate the machine's age against its expected lifespan. Fourth, assess the energy efficiency differential. Remember, appliances built before 2015 might use like 20 to 30% more energy than newer Energy Star models. And finally, evaluate the failure type itself. Are we talking about a quick isolated fix like popping on a new door seal, or a systemic failure like a burned-out compressor on a 12-year-old fridge? Now, notice how that boundary actually shifts based on age. If your appliance has passed, say, 80% of its rated lifespan, replacement is highly favored, even if the math on that 50% rule is kinda close. So, a failed bearing on a 4-year-old washer? Oh, for sure, fix it. But a failed compressor on a 14-year-old fridge? Yeah, you're definitely gonna wanna replace that. All right, moving on to section 2, diagnosing common oven issues, gas, electric, and error codes. Let's dive into the fascinating mechanics of diagnostics and contrast how different fuel types present entirely different failure points. Gas and electric ovens might look pretty similar on the outside, but underneath, they are completely different beasts. When an electric oven won't heat, it's usually suffering from a hidden break in the heating element, or maybe just a tripped 240-volt breaker. But gas ovens, they typically fail due to a weak igniter. Get this, if a gas igniter draws less than 3.2 amps of power, it simply won't open the safety gas valve. And that's true even if the igniter is glowing orange. It literally has to be white hot to safely release the gas. Crazy, right? But what if your oven does heat up but completely ruins your food? Well, that brings us to calibration drift. Over time, temperature sensors can just lose their accuracy. So if your cookies are burning on the bottom or a roast is taking twice as long as it should, you can actually do what's called the biscuit test. Just pop a tray of canned biscuits right in the center of the oven. If they brown unevenly, your thermostat is likely suffering from calibration drift and is going to need a professional offset adjustment. Now, if your oven is just beeping and flashing at you, think of this as your personal decoder ring. These common error codes tell you exactly where to start looking. F1 or F10. That means a runaway temperature or a completely fried control board. F3 points directly to a faulty sensor probe. F9 means your door latch is stuck, which, by the way, is super common after running a high-heat self-cleaning cycle. And LOC or CL, actually don't panic on that one. That usually just means the child lock is enabled. It's just a user setting, not a failure at all. Okay, section 3, the glass cooktop dilemma, high-tech services. What's really interesting about this next part is how modern, sleek, glass, and induction cooktops present completely unique repair challenges that you wouldn't expect. Glass cooktops are absolutely beautiful, but yeah, they can crack. And when they do, it's absolutely vital to distinguish between impact damage and stress damage. Impact damage happens when you accidentally drop a heavy cast iron pot on the corner of the glass. That's unfortunately user error, and warranties generally do not cover it. Stress damage, on the other hand, usually cracks right straight across the center. This is caused by a faulty installation where incorrect measurements literally restricted the glass from expanding when it got hot. So if it's stress damage, you're looking at an installation error. And wow, if that glass is sitting on top of an induction unit, things get even more complex. Induction technology is brilliant. It really is. It uses high frequency and magnetic fields to generate heat directly inside the pan itself. Because of this, it requires pan detection sensors to even turn on. Troubleshooting these bad boys requires specific software diagnostics for the control boards. Furthermore, and this is absolutely crucial, because of those electromagnetic fields, there are actual medical precautions. Individuals with pacemakers really need to consult their doctors before standing near an operating induction cooktop. All right, moving into our final section. Section 4, Kitchen Appliance Safety Protocols, Handling Hazards. We really need to shift to a more serious tone here, folks. Because cooking appliances involve high voltage and combustible gas, improper handling carries some extreme physical dangers. Just look at this direct warning straight from appliance manuals regarding those glass cooktops we were just talking about. If your glass top cracks, you must stop using it immediately. Seriously, never cook on a cracked surface, not even on a burner way over on the other side, away from the crack. Why? Well, because liquid from a simple spillover can literally seep through that tiny spider web crack and reach the live, high-voltage wiring right below it. I mean, we are talking about a lethal electrocution risk here. Gas appliances, of course, carry their own severe risks. Now, a faint smell of gas when the burner first ignites, that can be normal. But if you ever smell rotten eggs persistently, or if your oven's ignition takes longer than 90 seconds, which creates a massive gas buildup, you have to act immediately. Extinguish any open flames. Do not touch any light switches because even a tiny electrical arc can ignite the entire room. Turn off the main gas valve, ventilate, leave the house, and call your utility provider from a safe distance. You really have to follow these strict protocols exactly to prevent a catastrophic explosion. Another major hazard, overheated fats and oils. They catch fire incredibly quickly. If a grease fire starts, throwing water on it is an absolute recipe for disaster. It'll instantly vaporize and spread burning oil literally everywhere. And never use flour either. Instead, turn off the heat source and smother the fire by just sliding a metal pan lid right over it. If that doesn't work, grab some baking soda or use a dry chemical or foam-type fire extinguisher. Well, we have covered a massive amount of ground today, from the 50% replacement rule all the way down to the specific amperage of a gas igniter. So I'll leave you with this. The next time your stove brings mealtime to a sudden screeching halt, you now have the ultimate diagnostic tools to safely and financially navigate that repair. So when your trusted appliance inevitably gives out, will you blindly pay for a replacement, or will you use this framework to take control and truly master your kitchen? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and stay curious.